Right, so hello and welcome back to Books and Things and welcome to another video, and today I'm going to be doing my TBR for Non-Fiction November. So every November on BookTube it is Non-Fiction November. I will link down below the announcement videos from the hosts this year. I am very excited to be taking part in Non-Fiction November again this year. I always really enjoy it. I'm not someone who reads masses of non-fiction at all. In general, I would say I'm someone who doesn't read very much non-fiction, but it is something that I do enjoy when I read it, especially the two main areas of non-fiction that I enjoy are like literary criticism or books about books and history books. I love history and I always find history books really interesting. So I have some books that I'm planning to read for this non-fiction November. My main priority is that I want to read all of the non-fiction on my physical TBR, which may sound like a lot, but actually it's only 4 books and one of them is quite big. And then I've also got a couple of non-fiction audiobooks I'm hoping to get to in November as well, or at least to start in November. I don't know if I'll manage to finish both of them. So there are basically 6 things on my TBR for non-fiction November, all of which I'm really hoping to enjoy. So there are 4 prompts for non-fiction November. As is usually the case for non-fiction November, these are 4 individual words that you can interpret as you will, which I quite enjoy. So the 4 words this year are time, movement, buzz and discovery. I feel like I can probably vaguely fit everything I'm reading into one of these, possibly, but we will see. Anyway, let me get into the books that I want to read. So the first of the 4 non-fiction books on my physical TBR is this. This is Anthony Powell by Hilary Sperling. Anthony Powell is a wonderful author who I really like. He wrote a series called A Dance to the Music of Time, which is one of my favourite book series of all time. It's just a truly fantastic, wonderful series, 12 books spanning from the 1920s to the 1970s, following one man's life, and everyone he meets is wonderful. And I believe it is quite semi-autobiographical, and so I have been meaning for ages to learn more about Anthony Powell's life, and this is a biography of his life by Hilary Sperling. So I'm really looking forward to this. It is quite chunky, but like all of this section at the back is all notes, so actually it's not so long as it looks, and I'm really looking forward to this. As this is about a man who wrote a book series called A Dance to the Music of Time, I can definitely count this for the time prompt. Although I feel like it also probably counts for discovery in a way, because I want to discover more about an author who I really like, so you know, who knows, this should be really interesting. Another book that has been on my TBR for a long time is this. This is Reading Lolita in Tehran by Azer Nafisi. This was very popular on BookTube and elsewhere a few years ago. I've had it on my shelves for quite a few years, and basically I hadn't been reading it because I kept thinking, well, I haven't read Lolita yet. But A, I'm not sure I really want to read Lolita, and B, I think I know enough about Lolita that it isn't going to impact my reading of this book, and I have read the other books that this book talks about, if that makes sense. So this book is a non-fiction book about a group of 8 women living in Iran who set up a book club to discuss forbidden, banned books that they weren't supposed to be reading, including Lolita, but also including Pride and Prejudice and The Great Gatsby and other books that I know and have read. I think this should be a really interesting read, and it's one I've been meaning to get to for ages. As this book is one that's been very popular, I think I could probably count it vaguely for the buzz prompt, as it's had a lot of buzz, but also for movement, as it's about a different country to the one that I'm in. We're gonna vaguely go with that. Either way, I'm really looking forward to this. I've been meaning to read it for ages. I also have this on my shelves. This is Bookworm by Lucy Mangan, the subtitle of which is A Memoir of Childhood Reading. Lucy Mangan is a journalist, and this book is all about her upbringing, reading, and the books that she loved to read as a child. So I think this should be a really interesting, fun, bookish book. I always enjoy a bookish non-fiction, and I'm going to vaguely say this counts for discovery, as it's all about books, and books are to do with discovering things. Yeah, this is vague, but we'll take it. I'm really looking forward to this one. And then the final book on my physical TBR is this. This is Life in Victorian Britain by Michael Patterson. I really love the Victorian period, as you may have noticed if you've been on this channel for more than about 2 seconds. And while I love reading Victorian literature and kind of primary sources for the Victorian period, I also do enjoy a good history book about the Victorian period, so I'm really looking forward to reading this one, which my partner gave me for my birthday back in May, and I think should be really good. I'm going to say this definitely counts for the time prompt prompt as it's about the past, and also probably for the discovery prompt as I'm discovering more about a time period that I love. And also it's got some people and characters on the front, so we're going to say a big counts of movement. Basically I'm just trying to tick off everything with everything, so it doesn't matter if I don't get to all of these, but I'm really going to try. It would be really nice if I could read all the non-fiction on my physical TBR this month, because I am trying really hard to get my physical TBR down this year, so that would be really good. And then I have 2 audiobooks which I'm hoping to get to in the month as well. One of them, which I should definitely be able to finish off in November, is The Five by Hallie Rubenhold. This is a non-fiction book which is about the 5 women who were the victims of Jack the Ripper. So this I'm hoping will be really, really interesting. I have heard such amazing things about The Five. I think it's going to be very, very, very much my kind of non-fiction book. I'm really hoping it's going to be a bit like The Suspicions of Mr. Witcher. I've heard such good things from so many people, and I think I'm going to find it really, really interesting. Definitely has been a very buzzy book in the last few years. I'm really, really excited for it. I think I'm going to really, really like it. And then the other audiobook I'm hoping to listen to in non-fiction November is Black and British by David Olusoga. I don't think I'm going to manage to finish this in November because it is 25 hours long, but I should definitely be able to start it, and I'll probably get like halfway through by the end of the month. And I'm really looking forward to this. I think it's going to be really, really fascinating. It's a history book that focuses on the relationship between Britain and Africa throughout history, and looks at both black people living in Britain and their experiences living in Britain, but also British kind of impact and influence in Africa. I've heard really amazing things about this. I think this is going to be a very fascinating and eye-opening book, and I feel like this would very neatly fit into the prompts of time, being a history book, and discovery as well, because I'm hoping to discover lots that I don't know from this book. So very much looking forward to that one too. So there we have it. Those are the 6 books I'm hoping to pick up for non-fiction November. I'm not going to just be reading non-fiction in November. I'm sure I'll pick up a couple of fiction books as well, although I do tend to read non-fiction a bit slower than fiction, so we'll see whether or not I manage to read that much alongside these. We will see. Either way, I'm really looking forward to all of these, and I think they should be really interesting. Please let me know down in the comments if you're taking part in non-fiction November and what you're planning on reading. And that's all for now. Thanks very much for watching, and I'll be back very soon with another bookish video.